check the audio. It's this one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Hello, hello.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. Should be working now. Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, it's working. Okay. Okay, the audio should be working now. Sorry for that.
Yeah. It's because we were so focused on the issue.
Yeah, the problem is that my camera, I haven't figured out how to configure that on Linux yet,
Yeah,
on
it doesn't
Ubuntu.
work.
So I have to plug it on my computer to make it work. But
Yeah.
then the audio is all over the place. But yeah. All right, so we are
Officially.
live. We're starting now. Thanks everyone for joining. We are doing another session of Open Source Thursdays. It's a project from HexDevs where we contribute to open source live. And when the audio and the camera is working, everything goes smoothly, but sorry for that. But thanks for the patience.
Yeah. It has been a while since we had problems.
Yeah.
So that's a win. All right. So I'm Stephanie.
I'm Thiago.
Welcome. Thank you for being here. And let me see. Yeah. So let us know in the chat where you joining us from, if you are also working on an issue or if you just want to follow along with us. And for today, we will continue working on the issue that we got started last Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
We for this issue, it was the first time that we did some preparation before the live, and that's why we had some technical issues setting everything up. Because it was getting too complicated. Like Active Records is a very complicated module, and like thinking live and making sure it was a good session for everyone was,
and answering questions.
yeah, and answering questions while trying to understand the issue didn't work that well for this issue. So we got to a good point last week, and then we will explain now what we did before the session. It wasn't that much, but yeah, we're happy to share today.
Do you want to show the issue again or just show the code?
So it's sharing my screen.
Yeah.
Okay. What is the... Can you get the number? I thought I had the number. Sorry. This is the PR. I can...
It's on Notion.
Is it? Here. Okay. Yeah. So we are working on a... Oops. Sorry. What did I do? This issue will be completely solved in 2 pull requests, because just to give you some context, if you use Rails with MySQL, this prepared statements functionality, it's not set to true, and for SQLite and Postgres, they are already. And so it looks like this feature for MySQL was implemented, supported a few years ago. So people are more confident in also setting that as true, following the other adapters. Mm-hmm. And so we asked here what the next step should be. And we got this feedback that we needed to open a PR adding a deprecation warning first. So people that are running MySQL and don't have the prepared statement set, we will throw this deprecation warning. And then I don't know how long does it take. Like, it's going to be interesting to see.
I don't know when, because on the deprecation we have to add when the default will change, but we don't know. Is it 7.1, or in the future maybe? But we're not sure. But they can always tell us, I guess.
Yeah,
we can always change it. I don't think it's a big deal.
Yeah. So that's where we are. And
if you remember the last session, we looked at some database configuration classes, and we found that on Active Record you have adapters for the different types of databases. So we had the MySQL adapter, Postgres adapter, SQLite 3 as well, and then an abstract adapter. And then we've also found that the configurations, we also have different classes for configuration. We have a class that handles hash config and URL configuration. And then we kind of added some comments there saying, oh, maybe this is where the code should be added. But then during the week, we saw that maybe there's a better place to put the code. So we found that we have an abstract MySQL adapter that looks like a good place to put the warning. And so we started doing that. So maybe you can show people the piece of code that we wrote. So we created this little method. The name, we're not sure about the name, but this is how it works. So you just write something, and if it looks bad, you just change stuff. But so what we are doing, we are looking at the config variable. So that config variable represents the configuration for the database. And then in there, if people probably know about Rails, you have database.yaml. The YAML gets turned into a class, an object. And then you can have the name of the adapter on the variable. On the config, you can have the name of the adapter. You have the prepared statements flag, true or false, or it can be empty. It might not be present. So that's what we are dealing with. That key is not present. And then you have other stuff like the database file, if it's a SQLite database. So all that kind of stuff. And so what we're doing here is we're looking at the config variable, and we are checking if the key prepared statements is not set. So that means if it's not set, we want to warn people and say, hey, this configuration for MySQL, so only for MySQL, if you have MySQL and you haven't set the prepared statements key on the YAML file, this default today is false, but it's going to be changed to true in the future, just to let people know that this is going to change. So maybe you want to do something about it, maybe you don't. And then on the other PR that we will do now or in the future, I don't know, the default will be changed. And I guess we remove the warning as well, because we don't need the warning anymore. And so, so that's what we wrote. So we wrote a little piece of code that checks the config, see if the key is set, prepared statements is set. If it's not, you log the warning. So it's not really an error that is thrown, it's just a warning.
Yeah, and you know all of these deprecation warnings in your Rails app. And we will add one of those if you're running MySQL.
And we could check the adapter, but we saw that there's a specific adapter for MySQL. So that kind of made sense to put it there because it's only related to MySQL. But the config also has the adapter name and that kind of stuff. And it gets used to create the right type of object, right? So when you set the configuration on Rails, it looks at the adapter, and then it tries to find the right class for that adapter depending on the configuration, and then it creates a specific object from a specific class. And so this is the instance that we have, the MySQL abstract adapter. And we think it's going to work, but now we have to figure out the tests. So Stephanie saw some possible places where we could put the test. And then there's a way to check if a warning is raised. So that's where we're at right now.
Yeah. I think so. Maybe let's say, yeah. So this is the MySQL adapter that Thiago was mentioning. So we have an abstract adapter for all of them, and then each one of them have their own. So we added that check here in this class, and then but now that you were saying that, I just noticed that we are testing that the deprecation is thrown in the connection handler test. I think this is a good place for now, because I don't know if we also want to add a test for, let's say if I run any adapter that is not MySQL, that it doesn't throw the deprecation.
Yeah, so I guess we want to make sure that the warning is only raised for MySQL. So it would be good to check that. I don't know if, well, they do check for deprecations, but
yeah.
But I guess we could start there. So if it is MySQL,
yeah,
and there's no paired statements key set, we should have the warning.
yeah,
And then we could have another test where if you set the key,
the deprecation
doesn't get raised, doesn't appear.
right.
And then we could look at the other adapters. I don't know if it's too much or not, but we can always do that. So we can always get started there, where you're not setting it and you expect that the deprecation happens. And maybe you could run that test and see what's going on. So this is the thing that we're not super sure about, is that I guess we want to see the warning when we run the app or when we connect to the database. This is not I'm not sure about this, because we added the check on the abstract MySQL adapter when the connection gets configured, right?
Yeah.
So that is a place where it sets some stuff up, and we guess that if we put the check there, it would raise it, and when you run the app and you connect to the database, you would see the warning.
I don't know. Like, let us know in the comments what you think. But
I show them where it is being called. So abstract MySQL adapter.
Yeah.
Just
because
search for
prepared. Because if I'm just creating the app.
Yeah, so this is where we are calling that method on configure connection
for MySQL. Because when I'm just generating the app, I don't necessarily, I haven't yet even touched on my database YAML, right? So I don't think.
When you generate the app, you mean when you run the generator?
What you said, when we should throw the warning when you create the Rails app, or when you
connect to the database or run the app, not when you generate it.
Oh, okay.
Because I guess the person can always change it, so
yeah,
it doesn't make sense to put it there. I think it makes sense when you run the app. So you run it and you see the warning, right?
Yeah, because that's usually when you will see the messages, right?
Yes. But does that mean that when I run the app, yeah, I guess you always connect to the database. Yeah, I guess that's a good place to put it. Configure connection. I'm not sure where that gets called. It would be nice to be able to navigate the code, but let's just put it there and see if the test is working, and then we can
Yeah.
try to figure that out. So we have those two things.
Yeah.
Here.
Let us know in the comments if anything is making sense. If you have any questions.
So let's run this test. Do you know how to run only this one? Because I had an example of how to run tests.
Yeah, I think it's just in the if you go in the
on the terminal.
Yeah.
So I guess you have to go to the module active record.
Oh, that's right.
First.
Yes. It's because I was there. CD active record. We can run this entire file. It's not super long.
But is it the same file that we were working on?
Yeah, okay. Connection handler.
It should work then.
So.
Because I thought it was a different file.
No.
That's cool then. So it was the right file, but maybe the wrong place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not actually sure. We want to test here. It looks like it's a okay place. So
we can always run the test and see that it works.
Mm-hmm.
And then we can think about the right place to put it.
Yeah.
Because as long as it works, it means that the code is correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
26 runs. Okay.
So now what I would do is remove the assert.
Yeah. Can we do this?
Or maybe change the code. So let's do it the right way. So change the code to not do the check. No, just keep the test.
Mm-hmm.
Go back to the abstract MySQL adapter. So just comment that, and then the test should fail, right?
Yeah.
So this is this is how it should start, but sometimes a little confusing.
Yeah.
So if the test fails, it means the test is correct.
Yeah.
And then we fix the code, and then if it passes, it means the code is right. At least.
Yeah. Always good to test. Oh.
Yeah. So either the test is wrong, or it's not testing anything, or it's always raising, which could be another thing.
It's always raising, right?
Because maybe it's something else that is deprecated. Can you? Yeah. Did you see a warning on the? No
I
warning,
didn't.
Right? Connection handler test. Is that the right test? Let's check that.
Test cases, connection adapters, connection.
Yeah, it looks like it's the right. And then what is current adapter? Maybe that's the problem.
Yeah.
What is current adapter? Is there like a helper method?
Mm-hmm. Maybe it's not. Yeah,
Can I see the other test around it just to compare? Did you just copy paste a similar test?
Yeah.
Can I see the tests around it so I can compare?
Sorry.
I want to see
which one?
Other tests there to see how they do it.
Oh, yeah. I don't think it was being used here, though.
What?
That helper, current adapter. Also, maybe I have to...
There was no test that used that?
Not in this file.
Oh, okay. Yeah, just put it back. Just remove that, I guess, because I'm not sure about this.
Yeah, there is one here. It's just skip. Oh, my little cat. Come here. This is Data.
Say hi. Hello.
Interesting. I know I added a binding pry here, and it it got here.
But this is a different test, right? Statements.
It's
Can
always
you
fun.
can you add the debugger there just to make sure that test is being called? Because you're looking at a different file, right?
Yeah, I was testing that method was being called.
The deprecation method?
Yeah.
It was being called?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay, so
Interesting.
should we... Yeah, I see.
Just put a debugger there.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if it's being called or not. Just make sure. Maybe the test is wrong. Could be
Mm-hmm.
the test as well.
Yeah, it's always good to check that the tests are not passing, because then
It makes no difference.
yeah, I was suspicious that it was passing. So
Because you get all happy. Oh, the test is passing.
yeah,
That means my code is right. But then maybe the test is not running.
Okay, the test is not running now. Okay, let me remove this then. I think.
Yeah, maybe that's the problem. Because we do know that we are only doing that for MySQL because we are passing the config.
Yeah,
right?
I hear as well.
And we are setting the other stuff there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's hanging. So it's yeah, okay. So there's a problem with that, unless
Yeah, so see that we are seeing the warning. Empty prepared state is deprecated. Oh no, sorry.
no, it's a
Yes,
connection
yes.
in the
Definite method flat map. What is that? Seems
database
unrelated.
configuration.
I think so. Can you check database configuration? Maybe we changed the code there. It's not working anymore. So see the git diff. It's easier to see the diff.
I think I only removed the method.
Is it still being called somewhere? Search for that
Yes,
method.
it is. I mean, 177. Oh, it's probably calling from that other class.
Yeah.
Because this class is just
database configurations.
So which one calls this one? Database config.
So before hash config and URL were calling that, but not anymore. Yeah, so we removed that. And then URL as well, hash config. Okay. Or maybe it's a that. Maybe did you remove the old test? Maybe there's another test. You just see the diff.
Let me
Because
see.
I wrote a test before that was kind of checking for that.
This one. Do you want to copy and paste this one again?
So I don't know. You changed the test, right? So I don't know what you did with the test.
Me either.
Let's look at the diff. Maybe it's easier. So let's look at the diff for the test. Yeah, so check prepared statements.
You want the test, right?
So connection handler test. Test MySQL default. So we're doing that. That's fine. And then, is there any other test that changed on the diff? I mean, any other test file?
No, this was the only test.
So let me ask you this. Is this test the same one that I wrote?
Yes.
Okay, so let me see the error again. So it's saying test MySQL default empty presence is deprecated.
Build
And define
configs.
method flat map for new class. It's being raised on that database configurations 177. So I guess when you're passing the config, it's new for some reason. Config. It looks like it.
Yeah.
So let's put the binding pri on database config where the error is being raised. So can you show me the error again?
I think it's in another file because
Database configurations 177.
yeah.
So let's open that class. Database configurations 177. It's outside that folder.
Database configuration. Ah, okay.
Line 177. Yeah,
Configs.
so configs flat map. So it's being, so we are passing config.
If config.
We're saying that configs is new, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then configs, let's look at, no, go to the start of the class. Let's see where configs get set.
Mm-hmm. So we have configurations, build configs. Yeah, that's
so I
the
guess
method.
it's being passed by a method. So who calls that method?
Here, build config. Oh,
so
yeah, who calls this?
Let's search for it.
Build configuration.
So build configs. Yeah, so when you initialize it, you pass it. So it looks like it's empty or something. It's new or something. Maybe it's a problem with our test.
Let's see what it's getting here.
Here's probably new or something.
Interesting. Config. So we are creating a config. We pass that to the configurations.
Yeah, so the test is kind of weird, right?
No, didn't.
You have to require, I guess. Or maybe on the Gen file you require true. Pretty sure you can require from the Gen file.
Yeah, because it's annoying. I have to.
Well, I guess no.
Not here.
I mean, this required true. But I guess it's already true. So just add it there. Just add on the file. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, but I would like to not have to add it on every file. It's okay.
Right? Not true. Okay. So you should be able to see it. Yeah, I just copied another test. So I wonder why. Yeah, let's look configurations. Yeah, see, it's empty. Why is that? It's funny, right?
Interesting. Yes.
So let's look at the test. The test is wrong. Let's go back to the test. Just leave it. So let's see another test and compare. So this other test below, you pass a config, you get the previous configuration, and then establish the connection. Yeah, so it gets set here, right?
Do you want to do this?
It looks like it's doing the same thing, right? Configuration is equal config. I know it's kind of a weird way to do things, but config should go to the second item there. But you can just copy that guy and do the same thing.
So,
But I don't know. It's kind of weird.
so we wouldn't do this.
Yeah.
Then we pass that. Yeah, it's basically just.
It's doing the same. And how does the config gets created? Oh, do we have development as well? Is it equal?
I don't think so.
Can you show both of them? I can't.
Oh, we do.
Understand. Okay.
It's just because it's a.
So let's do this. Let's just copy this test and do this exactly same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then it should pass, and then we change it.
Okay.
Let's just copy everything, do the same thing. It's easier. Because then we can just change to the MySQL thing.
Right. Oops, not the name of the test. The name I want.
They need an end there, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, so run that. It should pass, and then we change to needs. Hey, Mike, how's it going?
Hello. I'm trying to figure out why the tests are passing when they shouldn't.
Well, it's raising an error now.
Now it
seems
is. Yeah.
Unrelated. The configuration was just an empty hash. Yeah, okay. So now let's try to change. So maybe the problem is when you do a MySQL thing. So let's change the adapter to MySQL 2. And then
here as well.
I guess you don't need that. Let's try to remove that. I'm not sure you need that for MySQL. Yeah, let's run that and see what happens.
Insert equal.
Yeah, don't need that.
So what happens?
Yeah, let's change the test maybe, because yeah, just keep line 185 and remove the rest. I don't think we need the other stuff. It's just retrieve connection pool. Because our test probably, we're just gonna run establish connection and assert that the warning is raised or something. So Mike is saying, I was messing with establish connection early this week. Small world. That's very true. I received some. Yes, I received some emails for issues being opened on Rails and also documentation stuff for Rails. And yesterday I received documentation for a method inside connection adapter or something. I was like, oh man, I was looking at this file this week, and then I got the documentation for one of its methods, which was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, small world.
I think that the good thing is that if you see a pull request that is touching on any of these things, you might not know everything, but you can give a simple code review, like based on what you know, which is also helpful.
Yeah, you kind of understand what's going on, have some context.
Yeah.
So the test is passing, right? Now, what we want to do is assert.
Yeah.
So I guess you can remove line 185 because I don't think we need that. And then you can do the assert thing. Yes.
Do we do an end here?
And
yes,
then,
right?
Yeah, and then we test line 183. Yeah, so move line 183 to the assert, because when you establish the connection, my guess is that the warning should be raised.
Let's see. All right.
And the test should fail now. But we were doing exactly the same thing, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
The only difference was the keys, right? So the keys now are strings, but before they were symbols. I don't think, yeah, it's kind of weird, but okay. So the test failed, and what does the test says? Expected a deprecation warning within the block, but received none. So that's good. That's what we want. And now, if we uncomment the code, the test should be green.
Right.
And then that means that it really solves the problem. So let's see.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Okay, it didn't.
So what happened?
It didn't receive the warning.
So let's look at the code. Establish connection. Let me see the test again.
The test.
Establish connection.
Okay.
So maybe it doesn't call that method. We can. What if you put a debugger there? And let's see what happens. Because maybe, yeah, it's kind of funny. Let's see what happens.
I'll have to add the request.
Just put it there. Don't need to put it at the top. Because you're only going to use that once, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so Mike is asking, is there a required statement in the config hash? So that's what we want to check now with the debugger. Because
yeah.
So the key is not, it's false.
Because I think it's default to false on MySQL, isn't it?
Yeah, so this is the tricky part where I think there's somewhere in the code that adds the default there. So maybe we have to do it before that happens, right? Because we didn't put prepared statements false.
No.
So let's look at the code again, the test.
I think we can look here.
I wonder if, let's look at the configuration. Can you show me the test again?
Oops. The test?
Yeah.
Let's see.
So which configuration we're using? Adapter, MySQL. Open adapter, MySQL. So that's all we have, right?
Yeah.
And then configuration receives that. So I wonder if it gets changed, because there was something that changed the configs.
I have seen that somewhere. It checks. But we don't
I know where it is. So go to abstract MySQL adapter. You go on the initialize. Go initialize. And then, maybe it wasn't there. It was another, maybe it was the abstract adapter, just abstract adapter.
Yeah, this one.
Yeah, abstract adapter. Yeah, see that it gets, well, it fetches prepared statement, but it doesn't change it, right?
There is one place that it changes for MySQL. I'm almost sure I saw that somewhere. Like, or not.
Maybe config equals on. You could search for config equals and only search on active record. The folder active record.
I thought I was already on active record.
Connection handling.
Find the B environment.
Maybe search for prepared statements. Or we could look at the class. So, MySQL adapter.
Let's see. Prepared statements. I was almost certain that I saw.
What if we put a debugger there and look at the config on the initialize? Because but on the abstract sorry. On the initializer for this class, you put the debugger there. Yes. And then we can take a look at config and see if the key is there, because it shouldn't be. If it is, maybe it's the test that is sending a configuration.
Yeah. Interesting, isn't it?
So what you can do, let me show you something. So remove the require from there. What you could do is just on the same line, you just put require and then column and then binding pri, and then you just copy that column.
This?
Yeah, and then just yeah. Yeah, so that should always work, I guess. So let's see.
Let's try it. Okay, let me get out of this.
Hi, Juan.
Hello. Yeah, it's
cool. Q, and then let's look at config.
Yeah, it gets as false here, and then it gets turned to true. So somewhere else it gets changed to false. Or
let's put because on the test the config doesn't have the key, right?
Right.
So maybe somewhere else is getting set. I would look at the configuration, database configuration, because it does get the config, and we could look at that. So if you put the debugger on database configuration.
Database.
Yeah, this file here.
This one or the other one? Because this is just the config.
Yeah, the other one, sorry. Database config.
Configurations, right?
Yeah, so this guy there. Let's look at configurations.
Oh, this is the one that we saw was getting new, right?
Yeah, but now it's fixed.
Oops, sorry. What happened here?
So, Carolini, I love the required binding pri tip. It's just to make it easier. It's probably an easier way to do that, but it doesn't matter.
Configurations. Yeah, it's getting new here.
It's getting empty?
Yeah.
Is that the right test? Because we're running all of them, right? So
that is true. That is
we're looking at the wrong test here.
So why can't I sometimes not run the...
Yeah, we're probably looking at the wrong test. And we couldn't figure out how to run that exact test before, right? Which is annoying.
Yeah. For For just...
So what I would do, you'd put the binding on the test, and then you have to step through it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's see if you can. Did you add all the fry gems we need on the
I
gem file?
did. Yes.
Did you do bundle install?
Yes.
So we should be able to step through the code and see.
Mm-hmm.
Now there's a way for Fry to put a debugger only where you want it, but I'm not sure. Or what you could do is configuration. What if you add another key on the config, and then if the key is there, you add the debugger? That's kind of crazy trick, I guess.
No, yeah, now that you said that it's running all the tests, not just that test, then oh my god, this is... I can't believe we were doing this. Because we don't know if it is running that condition. It probably isn't it, that test.
Yeah, so it's not. But I guess, where did you put the debugger again? Sorry.
Here,
right?
the configurations.
Yeah, we want to figure out where that key where that key is being set.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if that comes from a database YAML file somewhere, or it gets set by something, some class or something, but I'm not sure. Because we do see the key there, and it shouldn't be there, right?
Yeah.
Because when I did the test when I added the code on the database configuration class, I could see the real configuration being passed in without any extra keys or anything. So maybe it's between that and the established connection, something happens and the keys get set. So maybe we could search for it as well.
Okay.
Because we definitely don't have I have an idea. So what if you establish connection?
See, this is found it. I knew I saw that last time.
So on the MySQL adapter, they set the key there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we can't do that. It's too late. We have to do it earlier. Interesting. So what is reverse merge? I've never seen this method before. Is that on config?
I don't know.
Or is that like a hash method? I guess not.
Column option. Is this?
Search for def.
Here.
Okay.
That there are a few of them. Oh, so strong parameters, active support.
Yeah, let's look at one of them.
Oh.
Oh, so it merges the hash. Yeah, so I guess you kind of merge the hashes together, and that key gets set. So we probably have to do that check earlier, because we can't really do that anymore. So maybe we can do that on MySQL adapter, right? Instead of the abstract one, and that should work.
Nice.
So we just move things to MySQL adapter.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Okay, let's find it. MySQL. Where is that one?
I guess you were searching for it. Maybe you can MySQL adapter.
True adapter.
Yes. So okay. Yeah. So see. It's on the initialize. And then after that, you calls configure connection. Oh, see?
New
So
client.
this guy probably calls that method that we're looking at.
That one.
Yeah,
this one.
Yeah.
This one.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah, maybe. Not sure. But if you look here, or maybe there's another one here.
Let me see.
It
Configure.
gets overloaded or something. Yeah, so it does have it. And then it calls the
It calls the other
super.
one.
Yeah, so we have to do the check before that happens, right? And I wonder who calls this initialize method. It would be nice to know, because you could add that check before this class gets initialized. But let's just try something out. Let's just put the check there and see if it works, and then we figure out the best place to put it.
So abstract, we move this over there.
Yeah. Let's see that.
I just put it here.
Yeah, let's just keep things simple and do and see if it works. Because if it works, then
you know
what to do.
We would want to do it here, right? After it changes again.
You need to do it before it changes, because here it's probably setting the key that is not there. You can even add a debugger and look at it if you want, but what is happening is that it probably sets the key there.
Yeah, but then it will change it. And then
who's gonna change it?
This reverse merge, we'll put it to false.
Yes.
And only then we want to do the deprecation.
No, because we want to know if the key is not there, right?
The key is not there.
So if on database YAML you don't have that key set, we say, oh, this is going to be deprecated. Right?
Okay.
But if the config is changed and the key is there, I can't know anymore if the key is there, is there or not.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's just see what happens.
Let's see what happens now. Interesting.
So let's look.
I have a. Why is not working the price?
Help alias? You just call quit. I think the binds are not working. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's look at config and see if the key is there. Yeah, so it's not there. So we can. So it should work now, right? It doesn't have next. You just quit. So let's see. Can't escape. Yeah, undefined method key for new class. So why is it new? Oh, because it changed. Yeah, we have to look at the class. We can't just move things like that. We have to check.
Right.
So you could pass config down, I guess. I'm not sure if this class has the config variable.
This one it does. It's using it.
But because it's being passed here, right? So you have the local variable. Let's see if that works now.
Let me just remove
the other.
I don't even know what it is. Didn't I? Huh. You. I don't need you anymore. Okay. It's funny how after some moments of banging your head the wall, you
have to require price somewhere.
You start to okay. you start to find yourself easier, which is good. Okay.
You mean it gets easier to kind of figure things out?
Yeah,
that's true.
find yourself.
Yeah, I'm still wonder how you run just one specific test using the rake file for active record. We would have to check how it gets done because it's not using mini test.
Yeah, so, do you want to just continue?
Yep.
Given 0, expected 1.
Yeah, so we are seeing the warning.
Oh.
And then, what was the test doing again? Did the test pass?
Let me.
Command failed.
I don't know if this is a prior or a test error. That's some. I saw you complaining about the arguments. This one.
Yes, you have to pass config now.
Didn't I do that?
Yeah. So is that being called somewhere else? Can you search for check prepared statements?
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe I have to remove it.
Here.
I just removed that.
Here, okay. I have to remove this. Okay, that makes sense.
Where is he? Oh, he's there.
Yeah.
I thought he was there. So we saw the warning, which is good.
Yes.
That's what we want. Did the test pass? Yeah, we're seeing the warning now a lot.
Yeah.
So this
so maybe now we can add the check, like unless MySQL. Right? Yeah. Do you want to try that?
But did the test work? Just double check that.
Yeah, let's see. It's so huge.
Yeah,
one failures. One failures. God. Here. Where is it? Here. It still didn't hold the.
For connection handler test 183, let's look at that test. 183.
Maybe it's not. Maybe we changed the test. What is the name again? Here.
Connection handler test 183. So it's saying insert deprecated, but it's not.
So we tested. Okay. So we know that it's getting here without the key. And then we do the check. And so it's throwing, and we saw the message. Then why is the test?
The thing you have to understand is that we are running all the tests there. So maybe
that's true.
It's a specific one. Because it's just one test that is failing. Is that the test we wrote? I guess so, right?
Yeah. 183.
Expect, blah, blah, blah.
This one.
So I wonder when the warning gets raised. Is there another? Because it could be the test that is.
Oh, I see. I see what you mean. Like the test here is also is raising an error because when we call this, it doesn't throw the warning yet.
So what we could do, we could put a debugger there
Mm-hmm.
and remove it from the other place.
Right. This one, I guess. I think we also have another one. No.
I think it's easier to look at the diff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just
Commented.
remove that. Okay.
Commented. Okay. Okay, so I will just copy this.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah, so we could call that line
Mm-hmm.
and see if we see a warning. Because
Yeah.
maybe the warning is raised before that. Could be. Because see, remember that's why we removed the method being called on the initializer,
Mm-hmm.
because it was getting called before we established the connection.
Right.
So that might be tricky. Maybe we have to call that somewhere else, not there. So let's look at, just execute this 8185. Because see, did it raise something? No.
Let's see.
Yeah, see?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we can't call that from the initializer. It's not gonna work. Because if you call the method, they didn't raise anything.
No.
So we can't do that there. We have to do it somewhere else. We can't do it on the initializer.
Okay.
So that's why it's not working. So maybe let's show it to people so they understand what's going on.
Yeah.
So we are testing. So this is being called, but this is not the right place to put it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to work. We want it to show the warning when we establish a connection to the database or something, or when the configuration is read or something.
Mm-hmm.
So we can't have it there. We have to figure out another place to put it. So let's look at this class. Let's see what's going on there. Because the main problem is that when you initialize this class, the config gets overwritten, right?
Right.
So we have to do it before that. We can't do it there. We have to do it before that happens.
So it needed to be the one that is called for all adapter then.
I don't know. We have to look at the code. I don't know how that works.
So we have connect, configure connection.
Because we could do it on the database config class as well. Because that's how it was, right? I was doing that on the database config class and checking the adapter. So I think we should try to understand how it works. So when that gets called, when where's the place on the code where the config gets read and transformed into a config?
Yeah.
Because I know that we could do it on the database config class, and the config has the stuff in there. So we could do that instead. Because you see that the code works. It's just we don't know
where
to put it. Where is the right place to put it? So let's look at the project, the module.
Yeah.
So active record. Maybe let's look at the. Is there active record file or something? Yes,
Here.
active record.
Active support.
Requires a bunch of stuff. Yeah, just I'll load some stuff.
Load. Okay. Tasks. Middleware.
tasks, blah, blah, blah.
Wow, how long is this?
Almost done.
Okay.
Trigger load. Yeah, I guess it just loads stuff, doesn't really do anything. So let's look at some other stuff. So we have active record. And then let's look at the other stuff up there. Let's look at the configuration again. Maybe there's a place we could put it. Database config. So we have database config, just gets name.
I don't think this is.
So let me look at the database configuration file.
That's the one. Configurations, this one.
Yeah, so it receives a configuration, builds the configs on the initializer.
Build configs.
Yeah, so it's kind of the same problem where the initializer builds the class for the configuration, and we're not sure where to do that check. Because I guess I don't want to do it on the initializer, right? I want to do it somewhere else.
Yeah.
Because before I added the check around here, right? So I added that check around here. But it was the same problem. When you initialize the class, it raises the warning and all of that. But I'm not sure if that's what we want. What we want is when you establish the connection, you raise the warning. Or we have the warning on the initializer, but we will have to do a different test. You know what I mean? It needs to be a different test.
Right.
That test wouldn't work because that test already creates some configurations and establishes connections and all of that. And so those classes are already initialized when you call them.
Oh, hash. Yeah. Okay. I think that's good for today. It's getting longer already. We are doing it. The check is okay.
Yeah.
We are
so
just
the check. Where's the check?
I think it's in
So
the MySQL.
this works, but the problem is we're not sure we want to do it on the initializer, right? Or maybe we can do it, but we would need a different test for that, because that test's not gonna work. Because let me show them the test. Where's the test? Which one is it? This one?
Because what? Yes.
Because the test here, the problem with the test is that at the beginning on the setup, we already call configs for, right? So we're already initializing some stuff here. Establish connection. So our test could be this stuff here. You could write a test that does this, and you will raise the warning. I guess you will raise the warning here. Configs for somewhere. Yeah, something like that. So either we need a different test, or we can do this stuff on the initializer. We have to do something different. Configurations. Yeah, or we have to understand this module better to see where.
Yeah.
We could put
Can you? Which file was it that had 2 deprecation warnings?
It was on the configuration, I guess, hash config or something.
Can you see the tests for those two warnings if they have it?
I'm not sure. Yeah, maybe they have it, right? So I guess it was here somewhere.
No, it was
Here.
a large. No, it was search for deprecation warn in the active record.
You mean the
Just
test? You can search for tests.
this. I want to search this. Oops, sorry. This will be the last thing that I will do. Which one was it? That was one. This one, the configs for. And then can you see that we have two conditions here?
That's a good point. Maybe we could put it there. Let me see the MySQL adapter again.
MySQL adapter.
Yeah, but the problem is that the config. Can you go back to that file?
Sorry, I think.
Which one?
This one.
Configs for gets called on the initializer. So if you go up, it gets called on the initializer, right? So I'm thinking, okay, we could add it there. This is where it was before. This is exactly where it was. So we probably have to write a different test.
Yeah, that's where I wanted to see, like, how are they testing that one? Here.
Yeah, you could do that. You could do this test.
Do you think that's enough?
I guess so. Because we could pass in an environment that doesn't have prepared statements.
Yeah.
And you would raise the deprecation. You could do that. You could try that out. Do you want to try that?
Sure. In the same test that we have, or like in here? Let's see what happens.
This test is not working. Right?
So you want to
base configuration. Because see, we are changing the configuration now, right? So what I would do, I would just undo all the stuff that we've done there. And then I would create the test.
In here?
Yeah, so just duplicate this test. Prepared statements. Something like that. Default is deprecated.
Makes sense.
MySQL 2.
Oops.
Doesn't matter much. So I would do this. I would write the test. And then, yeah, remove that. AI unit. But I will have to figure out a way to use MySQL for that. Can you search for AR unit? I think it's a database YAML file or something. No, it's a file. Search for... No, sorry. Search for AR unit on
what is
test.
The name? Oh, active record unit?
Yeah, it's an environment. I think there's database YAML file for that as well or something. Yeah, example. So I guess it's using one of those. Probably when you're only running MySQL.
Here.
And if that environment is not set, so we could check for that on the test as well, maybe. But let's run. Let me look at the test again.
Yes.
Yeah. So let me config. So what we want is to run this test, and there's no warning, right? Right now.
Yeah.
So this test should fail,
Yes.
and then we add the warning to the database config file, and then the test passes, and then we can figure out put a guard there, so we only do it for MySQL or something, right? Something like that. So maybe let's try running that specific test file and see if the test fails. That's what we want.
Okay, so database configurations. And then
we don't change anything now. We just run that test.
Okay. I thought you wanted to.
Yeah, this test needs to fail first. This configuration test. Okay, this should fail. It should not raise any warnings.
I think it's because I have this.
So no warnings and test fail. That's what we want.
Using MySQL. Maybe we can. Like this. Yeah.
So deprecation warning, none, receive none. Cool. So now let's change the database config class to add the warning. So it's probably the thing that we had before.
Yeah.
Pretty much. So we did all of this.
I removed from here, right? So.
Yes. So just copy that. Just remove that.
And then we can just.
I would put it no. So it needs to go after line 62, because that's where that variable gets created.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, so somewhere. And then, but here's the thing. So this is a list. It gives you a list of configs. So the thing that I had before, probably you can. What if you just go back to what we had before? Just look at the diff for this specific class, because I had to handle that. So I had a list of configs, and I had to check all of them.
Database config?
Database config, yes. So see, I had this method, right? So maybe you can just undo the removal. Yes. So
Oops.
Let's open that class again. It's not that one. It's database configurations.
We didn't have. No, it wasn't there. It wasn't here. It was on the database config.
Oh.
I know. It's a bit confusing.
Okay.
It's true.
So let's look at the code. So check request statements deprecation. It looks at the adapter. It looks at configuration hash. And it looks at the key, right? Cool. And then this is database config. And then the other one is database configuration, right?
Yes.
And then where are we? So we have to remove that. So remove that. And then look at the diff, because I'm pretty sure that's where we were calling that. Database config.
No, it wasn't the database config.
Yeah, but somewhere this was being called, right? So we have to find where that was.
It was in the
Check
specific.
Yeah, so. Oh, I see. So I was doing something different before, right?
Mm-hmm.
On hash config. Yeah, that's fine. So let's go back to the code. I think I get it now. So we have a list of configs. So what I would do, I would just configs.each and then you check.
Mm.
Yeah, something like that. So
in here?
Yeah, so configs.each for each config. Cat. You call that other method, I guess.
Check.
Yeah, you could pass the config. And let's look at the method again.
I need to move that method.
Yeah, you can move it there. Should be fine.
Just put it here.
Check prepare statements, deprecation, config key, prepare statements.
Wait, where are we checking if it is MySQL?
We have to add that again.
Yeah.
You can look at the adapter. So config has the adapter, I'm pretty sure.
Because we just want to go
if
it is.
You could put that there inside the method.
If config adapter.
Yeah.
Oh, already.
I think it's just a method, config.adapter. You don't need that.
Okay, awesome.
But I would move that to line 79. Yeah.
Oh, right, because we already have it here.
Yeah, so it's the same thing, but you're checking the adapter. So it's not an unless anymore. So if it's MySQL and the key is not there, erase the warning. Yeah, something like that. I remember that there was a thing. Configuration hash, config adapter. So I think the adapter is not a symbol or something. I remember there was a problem with that. So the adapter wasn't a symbol. So you could just put yeah. So that's the thing. So I had to do that instead. Yeah, so check for the adapter and that should work.
Then here is config.
Config.configuration hash. Or you could pass in the configuration hash down as well. Doesn't matter. Whatever you want. Config.adapter. But you don't need that key there. It's just adapter.
Right, okay.
Yes.
And then
adapter. And then
there's something
you don't have, you have to call configuration. You have to get configuration hash from the config. So config.configuration hash. Yeah, you could do that as well.
Config.
So
no,
don't change the variable.
Yeah, that's not. No. It's the we want to get the key inside the config.
Configuration hash is inside config. So you can do config.configuration hash on line 81.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's what I was.
Yeah. So
my head was like.
It gives you the hash.
What?
Or you could even look at the hash itself, but this should work, I think. So let's
Okay. Let me see which test are we. This one, database configurations.
Yeah, so something like that, I think. Should
Okay,
work.
I think I'm done for today. So too much.
Yeah, it's interesting that we were kind of doing that, and then we say, oh, maybe that's not the right place, and then we put it somewhere else, but then we say, oh, we can't really do that here, so we had to go back. Did it work? So you can just comment. Is that an error?
No.
But what is the? Did you see any warning there? What is that thing talking about? Okay, so that's what we want. So if you comment that stuff, so yeah, just comment that. We should see that the test fails. Because we're not raising any warnings.
Running in circles. Yes.
So we failed, right? Expected a warning, none was given. And so now we uncomment that. And then the test should pass. Yeah, so that's good. So the test is doing what we want, which is checking for deprecation.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess.
Thank you. See you around. Sorry for taking so long.
Thanks, Julian. I hope you learned something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So we have what we want. And then probably we only, because if you run that test and it's not MySQL, it's probably gonna fail. So maybe you only want to run that test on MySQL.
Oh, I see what you mean.
So Rafael is saying, you are doing an awesome work in these videos. I was searching how to start contributing to your Rails project. Keep up the good work. We're happy to see that you are inspired. And that's the whole point of this, is to help people get started. And we're not experts in contributing to Rails, at least, but you're probably gonna have the same problems that we are having. So yeah, thanks for the feedback.
Thank you for being here. It's yeah, at least you can see what's waiting for you. But it's cool, eventually you start making sense of the project and you start remembering things and seeing patterns. So that's good, but hanging there until that happens, but it's worth it.
Yeah, but I think we're in a good place now. So probably we want to figure out if you only want to run this test on MySQL.
I guess not. So, right? We can use that cool.
Yeah, there was a guard, so he only runs
current adapter
test if the adapter is MySQL. So maybe that works. We could try.
Yeah, I think I will already.
SQL 2 or something.
Sorry. That I
think there's a question mark as well.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we can
try that.
Can do this
because we only run we are only going to see the warning on MySQL, but not with other adapters. And there's another thing, because we are using a configuration from a database YAML example file, test file. And there's also an environment variable that sets prepared statements depending on the CI, so it's kind of complicated.
Yeah, this
We'll
one
have
will
to check that as well.
be a bit tricky.
But yeah, we could do the guard, could do a commit, and then we can think about
Next
the other
step.
stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this is a good wrap up for today.
Yeah.
I was adding some notes here so we don't forget for the next session, which is we definitely want to check that the warning is not present if it's not MySQL.
So let's add a comment here.
Uh-huh.
So we do have the test here, and the test works, but we still need to figure out, we only want to run this test when it's MySQL. The adapter that is being tested is MySQL. And there's also something on the CI where they do set the prepared statements depending on an environment variable on the CI, which is kind of tricky. So we might need to check that as well.
Oh yeah, definitely, because the CI now needs approval to be run, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's a good place to stop.
I'll just put it here, like run all the time. And also Robocop, like Robocop. Yeah, I wonder, do you want to also generate 3 Rails apps? Why? One with SQLite, one with Postgres, one with MySQL, and see if the warning.
You could just change the adapter for them, but yeah, we could do that as well.
Okay, so
generate a Rails app, and then we put the MySQL adapter there, and we should see the warning.
Yep. Okay. Okay. I think so. Let's try to recap, and if you have any highlights from this session, let us know in the comments.
Okay, so to recap all of this stuff, we added a test on database configurations test, and then the test just runs something. So this is a block. So it runs the block, and it asserts that when this block is run, block gets executed, a deprecation warning gets not really raised, but it appears on the log. The message appears, so a warning is displayed. And then we are just calling active record using a configuration, database configuration. And maybe you don't need this thing here, I would guess.
That's true.
Yeah, probably don't need this. Or even this. Yeah, maybe we have to add more stuff to this test, but I think you get the point. So added the test, asserts deprecation, and then on database configurations, we are doing this. We are looking at the list of configs, and for each one of them, we are checking if the config is if we should raise the warning for the configuration. And then if we look at the method here, we look at the adapter. So here's the thing, database configuration works for all adapters. That's why I need to check for it. Not sure if there's a better way to do it, but this is what we have right now. So we look at the adapter. If it's the MySQL adapter and the configuration doesn't have the key prepared statement set, then we raise the warning. So we are saying here in the warning, the default value of prepared statements for the MySQL adapter will be changed from false to true in Rails X. I'm not sure if it's 7 or not,
Yeah.
but and that's it. So for each configuration that doesn't have red statements, that is a MySQL adapter, we raise the warning. And
Yeah.
that's what we have.
Yeah.
So let's see here. Just keep notes of this journey, and maybe in the future you will have enough material to publish a book. But that's the idea. So we do write some notes and highlights from the sessions, and we post it on our blog on hexdevs.com. So sometimes we add stuff to the stuff we already have. Sometimes we create a new blog post, but you can check that out. And eventually, yeah, you're right. Eventually, there's enough material to create a book about it, how to contribute to Rails.
Yeah, I think it's certainly a mini guide.
Yeah.
It's already in. I already see an idea for a mini guide, but yeah, not exactly right now. Yeah, but we are definitely keeping the notes. And that's a really great advice. I hope you are following that for your own projects as well, because that's a great advice.
Yeah, so we do have. So I left a link on the comments. We do have a blog post explaining some of the ways you can get started, and then we have another one on how to use Bry. Yeah, I guess that's it, right?
Yeah.
We do have some stuff, and we keep updating the blog posts with more information.
Yeah.
But yeah, we are tracking stuff, and this is a good idea.
Yeah. I guess, and that leads us to our wrap up. The best way is to sign up for our newsletter in our website whenever we have good things like that we know will be helpful for you. We send an email, and as well as when we have other events. So that would be the best way to get updates, and also give feedback for us if you would like. That would be great as well. All right.
Yeah, so just we do these live streams every Thursday, more or less every Thursday, and we also do some other events like the watch party, where we get together, watch a tech talk together, and learn something. And we have the newsletter, and we are also having more experts on these sessions.
Yeah.
So more Rails experts that we are going to bring in. And it's going to be great because you can always learn something new, learn something cool. So stay tuned for that. We have more people
in the pipeline.
So we have more people from Shopify as well that want to join us. And Chris Oliver said he was coming as well, so that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, from Go Rails.
Yeah. So yeah, stay tuned and.
Yeah, sounds good. Okay, I'm feeling good about this, where we are wrapping up today. I think that's all from us. We will keep working on this next Thursday, and we will just clean up the commits here, and we will push it to our branch. Yeah, so thanks everyone that joined today, that was here with us. That's really cool. We really hope you learned something, and see you next time.
Bye-bye. See you next time.
Bye.